A so-called black book listing strike options for retaliation if the U.S. is attacked with nuclear weapons. A book listing bunker locations where the president can be taken in an emergency. A manila folder listing procedures for the emergency broadcast system. And a small card with authentication codes to verify it's the president ordering a nuclear launch.
That is known as the biscuit.
A so-called black book listing strike options for retaliation if the U.S. is attacked with nuclear weapons. A book listing bunker locations where the president can be taken in an emergency. A manila folder listing procedures for the emergency broadcast system. And a small card with authentication codes to verify it's the president ordering a nuclear launch. That is known as the biscuit. And a small card with authentication codes. You know, I was in the Army. My job was in communications and dealing with authentication codes, not authentication. Authentication codes was my job. All right. So you guys did great. In an emergency. Lots of people wrote in twice. I guess it sounds like in an emergency. No, in an emergency. So we'll talk about that. Manila. Just like the city in the Philippines. And a small card. That is known as, it's not bad. You guys did great. A so-called black book listing strike options for retaliation. So lots of big vocabulary words. I'll explain tomorrow. Use your glossary. You guys did great. If the U.S. is attacked with nuclear weapons. So this is one thing. Number two, a book listing bunker locations where the president can be taken in an emergency. Do you understand? In an emergency? I hope so. A manila, that's number two. Number three, a manila folder listing procedures for the emergency broadcast system, and a small card with authentication. With authentication. You know what? I'm going to listen to that audio. Make sure I'm not screwing up here. Let me listen with you guys.
System. And a small card with authentication codes.
Yeah, authentication codes. Why in my head do I want to say authentication? Is authentication even a word? This is like a live class. Authentication. Of course, there's no double C. Oh my God. Yeah, what's wrong with me? I still want to say authentication. I apologize. And once again, this is my job in the Army. A small card, number four, a small card with authentication codes to verify it is the president. It's the president ordering a nuclear launch. Small p. That is known as the biscuit. You guys did great here, the biscuit. That is known as so-called, that is known as nicknamed, right? All the same thing, right? A so-called, a nicknamed, that is nicknamed, that is known as. All right. 2 times. Authentication. I almost said authentication again. Authentication. I can't believe I say that wrong. All right. 2 times. A so-called black book listing strike options for retaliation. So if Kim Jong-un sends a nuclear missile to Los Angeles, we should attack here. If Kim Jong-un sends a nuclear missile to Tokyo, we should attack here. They have everything figured out. It's all ready to go. So, and the black book has everything. This black book, and they do call it the black book with big B's. Listing strike options for retaliation if the U.S. is attacked with nuclear weapons. That's one thing. Another thing, a book listing bunker locations. So if Donald Trump is in Boston and there's a nuclear attack, he needs to be protected. So they open up the book. Where's the closest bunker? Oh, it's right here. Let's go. And it probably has, directions to the safest bunker for him, where the president can be taken in an emergency. A manila folder. So this is, I don't have any manila folders, but this is a manila envelope. It's the color, okay? It's kind of a white, off-white, beige type thing, yellow. A manila folder listing procedures for the emergency broadcast system. This is actually a little bit wrong. But anyway, basically, if there's a nuclear war, they're going to send a text. Or on the television, beep, 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 beep. This is a message from the emergency broadcast system. The United States has launched a nuclear weapon in retaliation to blah, blah, blah. Please seek shelter. Go home. Do not go outside. Go to your basement. Something like that. You get a text message, okay? So there's how to do that in there. And a small card with authentication. And I'm glad in France and in other languages you say authentication. I don't know what's wrong with me. A small card with authentication codes to verify it's the president ordering a nuclear launch. So basically it's like this. This is the president. We need to launch a nuclear weapon. This is, all right, President. Alpha Bravo 124. And the president has this book, and he has to look up Alpha Bravo 124. Delta Foxtrot Charlie 37. Delta Fox. And it's these, they just read these letters and numbers to verify that, yes, this is the president. Okay, it sounds easy, but it's pretty complicated. It's pretty good. That is known as the biscuit. So I'm not sure what they're talking about here, the biscuit. I guess in the football, this stuff is the biscuit, or perhaps the small card is the biscuit. That might be the biscuit, because that's pretty important. Okay, the biscuit is a piece of bread. Anyway.
A so-called black book listing strike options for retaliation if the U.S. is attacked with nuclear weapons. A book listing bunker locations where the president can be taken in an emergency. A manila folder listing procedures for the emergency broadcast system. And a small card with authentication codes to verify it's the president ordering a nuclear launch.
That is known as the biscuit.